everybody, welcome to a new video. My name is Avi and I read books. And today's video is going to be my April to be read. I'm filming this March 19th, so I still have a long time. Still have like a week and a half to go before April starts, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna finish it, or at least started all the books of my TBR. I'm currently still reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. The book itself is downstairs, so I just got the dust jacket here. I need to read a little bit over 100 pages, and I'm pretty sure if I find time today that I'm gonna finish it. Then I still have to pick a physical book, and I'm gonna pick a short book for that one, and that is What I Need Seat by M.J. Arledge. Translated, this is Love is Blind, so that's going to be the physical book I'm going to be reading. It's a really short one. I'm pretty sure I can read it in one day. I'm probably going to try to read this one for the book uploads with a dark cover. And then the last book I still need to read is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. I'm participating in the book uploads, but I'm not sure in what length because I also have to work. So pretty sure I will definitely start this one. I'm, by the way, also going to do, if I roll a certain thing the third time, that I will add a roll. So last in March we had 2 explosions, one time the 1 and one time the 5. So if I actually roll another explosion, there's going to be an extra spin added. I'm lucky because I rolled a 3, and a 3 is actually continuations of series, and I love the fact that I just dedicated one number to this one, because I end up wanting to read a lot of series but also starting a lot of series, so at least I can continue on with them. And that one is Meet Me in Cockleberry Bay by Nicola May, which is the second one in the Cockleberry Bay series. If you saw my spring TBR, you would know that this one is on it, because I just really like the fluffy feel-good romance type of books, and the first book, Cockleberry Bay, is one of those, which is really great to actually be able to have this one. My TBRs are mostly not that broad when it comes to synopsises, because I just feel like I like going blind into books, but my wrap-ups are mostly like the entire plot twist and everything. I do know this is the second book in a series, so the first book is about a girl that inherits a corner shop in Cockleberry Bay, and she doesn't even know who the person is that died and gave it to her, and she meets a lot of new people in that seaside community, and about her deciding what she's gonna do with this corner shop. Is she's gonna renovate it, own it, is she gonna sell it? She doesn't know, and that's actually the first book about. And the next roll was number 1, and that's the second time number 1 came up. At this moment I made a list for myself so I know when I have to roll again, and that was hardcover. I'm currently thinking, I'm gonna decide obviously here, but I have a couple of hardcovers that I really want to read, but there is also one really chunky one that I really want to read, and on the one hand I want to pick it, but on the other hand I know that it's still my second roll, so I still have at least 2 rolls to go, and maybe those 2 rolls aren't as the... I mean, I've been pretty lucky last month with my roll the dice. Pretty lucky with my TBR last month, and I just don't want to push that luck too much. So I'm just gonna quickly show you guys the 3 books that I might want to read, and then I'm probably gonna make a decision. So the big and chunky book I might want to read was actually The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. But like I said, it's a pretty chunky one, so I'm thinking of not putting this one on my TBR, although it's also on my spring TBR, so it would be great to have at least 2 of my spring TBR books on my TBR list with April. But I'm gonna probably push it aside, and in the end of the video probably decide if I pick this one or not. And then another one I'm thinking about is Fatal Spell by Chinook Thijssen. She's one of my favorite Dutch young adult authors. I know I always fly through her books. It's really quickly. It's obviously in Dutch, so it reads quicker for me, because I obviously am not a native English speaker. I love it reading in English, but it's always a little bit slower than Dutch. And then we have Verstrikt by Manuela de Vries, which is also a young adult thriller author and one of my favorites, which I know that I'll fly through these books. I'll insert a clip of future me after all of my rolls to see which book I ended up picking. Future me I decided to pick Fatal Spell by Chinook Testa because, like I said, she's one of my favorite young adult authors. I know her thrillers are amazing, and I thought this was one of her too. I think this is one of the books I haven't read. This is one of her first books, and I think I almost read all of her books then. I think I need to read one or two more that are just recently came out, so. Rule number 3 was a green card, which is a continuation of a series, which I'm so hoping right now that it was Hunting Prince Dracula or Good Girls Bad Blood, because those are the books I really want to read and I also want to buy soon. But it's another book that is on my TBR for a while, and I need to continue on with this series actually, because I think this is one of the longest series on my TBR at the moment, and that is Map of Days by Ransom Riggs, the 4th book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And for the rule before this one, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pick a Dutch book just because it's gonna be a quicker read, because Map of Days is a pretty chunky, big book. This is translated to Dutch because I own the first 3 books in Dutch, and I obviously want to keep it in a little bit in the same order, but I think the covers are the same, so that's great. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children was one of the first YA, more horror type of books I ever read, I think. Horror, dystopian fantasy. I do not know how to classify this book, but I think it was one of the first that I read, and I really enjoyed it that much. And I read the second and the third obviously too, but I'm really slow on catching up on the series. I have no idea why, because I do enjoy it once I read it, but I just end up not buying the second books, the next books in the series that often. So that's what my goal was this year, to buy the more books of next parts of series so I can actually catch up or finish series, because I do have way too many series I'm reading. My goal is to spend more money on books. Great goal. So this is the 4th book in the installment. I thought it was supposed to be a trilogy when I remember, but then this one came out and I got all off track because I was thought like, oh, I'm finally almost finished with it, and then there was a 4th book, and I think there was also a 5th book already, so I do need to catch up. But this is definitely gonna decide the fact that I'm gonna pick a short or a Dutch book for my hardcover book. Then I had a number 4. I don't really have a specific theme, it's more genre based, correctly, and this one was a classic, and I'm actually really excited and happy about this one, because the day I'm filming this, actually a new classic came in, and that was Dracula by Bram Stoker. I got these Penguin Library editions, by the way. I love it, and they're pretty floppy, and they fall open really widely, which is great because I do like paperbacks. I do like hardcovers because they stay open a lot of the times, but they're more expensive, and I like paperbacks because they're cheaper, and I'm obviously a college student, so cheaper the better. But I just love these editions. Like, those spines are great. I'm not the biggest classical reader, like, I'm saying it wrong. I tried classics before on ebook editions, and I struggle a lot sometimes with the writing style. I tried translated classics, and I realized that's even worse for me, like when they're in Dutch, because the writing just never really felt for me. But then I read some classics in English, like Agatha Christie. I think that's considered a classic, right? I read, and I did enjoy it. So I do know I enjoy more horror, mystery-based classics are at this moment, so I'm gonna start with those. So I got 2 actually. So I got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Dracula. Concerning the fact that Map of Days is such a big book, I am gonna go for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because it's a pretty small one. So I don't need an extra spin because I didn't roll a thing 3 times. Although next time I'm probably going to spin more, because number 1 came up twice in this total. Number 1 came up twice, number 5 came up twice, and the explosion has come up twice in the past 2 months. So that means one of those 3 next month, and I have an extra spin. I'm actually really excited about all of these books. Like this is a continuation in the series. This one is one of my favorite authors. This is something I'm really excited about because I'm hoping that because I'm getting into classics more and more, and I'm trying to even buy classics, which I never thought I would. So I am excited for spring to come and for reading all of these books.